Tonight, we honor the Herbert and Audrey Rosenfield Fund, the founders, Herbert and Audrey Rosenfield, and the present trustees, their children, Pat, Tom, and Nelson. Herb Rosenfield was a lifelong New Yorker, was an award-winning graduate of the High School of Commerce. Herb enlisted in the Army in 1940, a full year before the U.S. entry into World War II, and served for 6 years voluntarily. On return and served in combat, his unit saw combat in France and Germany. Upon his return, he entered family business Continental Converters, becoming president in 1955. Audrey Priest Rosenfield was also born in New York, but spent early years in Rhode Island, returning to New York area in her teens. She had graduated from Goucher College with degrees in English and philosophy. During summer months, she did her patriotic duty during World War II, driving an ambulance for the Red Cross. In business, Audrey worked for Stern Brothers Department Store and for many years managed Colorado Trading Company. A noted graphologist, she lectured on the subject at NYU, and I'm glad she can't see my notes here tonight. She lectured on the subject at NYU. I think I said that. She served for many years on the Hospitality Committee of the UN. Audrey also worked with the hearing impaired at the New York School for the Deaf, teaching flower arranging. I first met Herb and Audrey in the mid-'70s, at a time when all of Lower Manhattan, and particularly the area that later famously became known as Tribeca, was at a historic low point. Battery Park City was a barren, wind-swept dust bowl. The failed Washington Market urban renewal project left block after block totally devoid of buildings. The remaining lofts were rapidly being occupied by artists as illegal and dangerous live workspaces. Herb, with Audrey at his side, made the first attempts at revitalization by establishing the Chambers Canal Civic Association with Herb at its chair. Herb and Audrey supported many of the institutions that were the pillars of the community, including what is now New York Presbyterian Lower Manhattan Hospital, for which Herb was a longtime trustee. Herb served for many years as a member of Community Board 1. So it was only natural that when BMCC arrived in the neighborhood on Chambers Street and Dr. Joshua Smith, the then president, reached out to the business community to establish a fund to raise money to support the college and its students, that Herb stepped up to join me as one of the founding board members. Herb and Audrey believed strongly in the value of education and saw, as we all do, as was demonstrated tonight, the great benefit BMCC provided to women and men striving, many in difficult situations, to achieve an education. Herb continued to serve as a trustee until his death in 2016. The Rosenfields contributed to BMCC in many ways, including the establishment of the Avner B. Rosenfield Leadership Award in memory of Herb's father. But mostly, we cherish their wise counsel and guidance. Herb and Audrey's keen wit, foresight, and dedication to service, family, and friends defined their lives. And they instilled the same values in their children, Tom, Pat, and Nelson, who as trustees of the Herbert and Audrey Rosenfield Foundation are continuing their parents' commitment to BMCC and its students in very significant ways. Please welcome Tom Rosenfield.
I grew up sort of knowing Herbert, and I think the more exciting thing is that when I got into New York City politics, I discovered that Herb and Audrey were extraordinary civic-minded citizens. And it was very nice to both see the quality of their work, see how quietly they went about doing that work, and then to know that we were related.
And I got to know him because he was he's really a voice on behalf of the business community. And Community Board 1 is a little different than most community boards because it was really both a business board and a community board. So Herb was always involved in all the various business associations and speaking up in their behalf and things that he thought were of concern to them.
Herb was also very much a family man. There really was nothing that meant more to him than his children and his beloved flower-loving wife, Audrey.
But that's one way of investing in the future, and another way of investing in the future in New York is to help build the city. And for all of their accomplishments, and they were many, none seems to me as important as what they did to help foster and grow BMCC.
I think he probably must have been involved in getting it rebuilt when it was so stalled and nothing was happening. And it was important to get that moving.
So I had the opportunity, because of him, to talk to businessmen from as far north as Canal Street and all the way back down here to Chambers Street. He was really very helpful, and he really got the word out about how good BMCC could be for the neighborhood.
I got to know him really through working with the BMCC fund and working with him to expand the fund. It had been started to raise scholarships, of course, for students, and we worked together to expand the resources, also to build positive relationships with the neighbors in the community, and to raise general resources for the college.
So there was always a relationship and an interest on his part, which I quickly began to identify that this was an individual who really truly cared about the college, but more importantly cared about the students.
He had worked hard in his life, and he really had this understanding that something that you worked hard for was something that you would value much more. And he knew that BMCC students worked hard, and he really respected that. And that's one of the reasons that he wanted to give his time and his resources to support that hard work.
Herb really was committed to the Out in Two program and made donations on a regular basis to ensure that students had that opportunity that he felt were necessary in this country to be successful. He felt that education was really the investment that could be made in individuals to ensure that they too will be successful and that the path for them would be easier.
When you invest in your neighborhood, when you use your philanthropy wisely, when you help business people be able to put down roots and thrive in the lunatic place that is New York City, and when you contribute to the building up of an institution of higher education and then leave money for scholarships, you are creating your own legacy. So beyond their children and their grandchildren, who will, as individuals, carry on some of this good work, they've left a legacy that's literally inside the bricks of BMCC.
Thank you. Pat and Tom, I'm honored to present to you the BMCC Award for Excellence, which reads, to the Herbert and Audrey Rosenfield Fund. With great, deep gratitude for your outstanding generosity to BMCC students, in honor and to sustain the legacy and values of your beloved parents, with admiration for your continued dedication to service, family, and community, and with appreciation for your special friendship. I present you this award. Yeah. Please join us in congratulating the Herbert and Audrey Rosenfield Fund and the fund's trustees, the children of Herbert and Audrey Rosenfield, Pat Rosenfield, Tom Rosenfield, and Nelson Anpang Chang. We are truly grateful for your friendship and for all that you've done to support tonight's gala and BMCC. And now, there's even more. At the request of Pat, Tom, and Nelson, the trustees of the Herbert and Audrey Rosenfield Fund, I am honored to officially announce on their behalf that the Herbert and Audrey Rosenfield Fund has made an outstanding and very generous gift of $1 million. That's $1 million to support the BMCC Foundation to establish an endowed fund to support BMCC's Out in Two program in honor of Dr. Antonio Perez. In grateful recognition, the BMCC Foundation is honored to name the Herbert and Audrey Rosenfield Lobby in the BMCC's Miles and Shirley Fitteman Hall. Tom and Pat. Thank you.
A warm thank you to the organizers of this magnificent gala, a true celebration of the work of the Borough of Manhattan Community College. Fantastic, congratulations. Thank you, President Wilkes, and to all her colleagues for making us all feel so welcome. Our family is at home in downtown Manhattan. We are born and bred Manhattanites and proud to be. Herb and Audrey believe that learning and service to the community were fundamental values, are fundamental values, and they practiced what they preached. They felt strongly that not only was education a right and an obligation of society, but also education without a commitment to service was incomplete. John Locke's classic philosophy of tabula rasa is that we are the sum total of our life's experiences. Taking this one step further, our parents felt that we are defined not only by things which happen to us, but also by the conscious and active decisions we make throughout our lives. So it was a natural extension that in 1987, Herb and Audrey established the Abner B. Rosenfield Scholarship Fund at BMCC to support students who exemplified academic excellence and good citizenship. And I met one here tonight, very happy to meet him. I don't know, I think he was here. Great guy, who is now a director in a technical college in Brooklyn. Then in 1999, they were early supporters of former President Tony Perez and his initiative to launch the Out in Two program. And in 2018, to reinforce the Out in Two program, together with interim President Karen Wilkes and Vice President Doris Holtz, my sister, my brother, and I, representing the Herbert and Audrey Rosenfield Fund, felt it was only natural to continue the work started here by my father and mother by making an initial endowment to BMCC for the Out in Two program. Now the important part. We applaud the BMC students, scholars, many of whom are single parents and armed service veterans, who to us are the real elite. Self-starters who have a profound appreciation of education and follow their degrees with even more meaningful service to the community after they graduate. And I met many of them tonight, and very, very pleased and proud to have met them. Tracy, Donata, Onakachi, Leslie, Silas, on and on. Thank you for coming tonight. They were wonderful. In closing, while the Gala program kindly cites our family as honorees, it's a little bit mistaken. We thank you for your graciousness, but it is the champions of the Borough of Manhattan Community College who should be honored for their drive, their optimism, and their unlimited potential. Thank you all for your kind attention, and to BMCC for the great work that you do.
And I would just like to add to the thank yous the excellent, extraordinary work Tommy mentioned of Vice President Doris Holtz and Manuel Romero in really helping to make this a well-known event and to work with us closely on the video. And I want to thank everybody who participated in the video. And a special shout out for Ray O'Keefe, who is the strongest supporter I know of Borough of Manhattan Community College. And Tony Portanese, the chair of the BMCC board, which is so supportive of everything the college does. So thank you all very much. This is a great honor.
You know, I would be remiss if I didn't say that Tom traveled here from his home in Switzerland to be with us tonight, and the other son, Nelson, is traveling in Tokyo, I believe, from his home in Taiwan, so he couldn't join us tonight, but I'm sure he extends his good wishes. Thank you.